welcome to part 2 of Mapping a Fantasy World series. Today we are going to start with the landmarks, and we're going to start with the biggest landmarks, which are mountains. Now with drawing your mountains, you can use the visual method again, just like with continents, only placing them around the paper in like mountain ranges. If you have something bulky with like these Legos, this is the tiniest Lego I can find. But you have like tiny islands like I have added over here. You can just draw a little dot to mark solitary mountains, but generally if you're going to use the visual method, what you want to do is you want to lightly trace the objects, and then if you want especially a thin mountain range, maybe also draw a thin squiggly line within the traced area. But you're just going to draw your mountains within the traced area. And with placing your mountains, if you want to take a more realistic approach, you're going to want to place your mountain ranges close to the coastline, because that's how mountain ranges form in real life. They are formed by the bumping of the earth plates together, which happen near the kind of edges. Even solitary mountains in the real world tend to be closer to continent's edges rather than smack dab in the middle. I like a fantastical and realistic combination. Because in fantasy, you just sprinkle them wherever. But if you add a little bit of the realistic quality, adding a little bit of reality into your world makes it more believable. And I like that. So I already did the visual method and traced it and started filling things in. With actual drawing of the mountains, you can do it several ways. You can take the normal approach, which is to draw individual mountains, which I like, because then you can make them as big or as small or as narrow or as fat as you want. And also with mountain ranges, you can show where there's like thinner areas where there's maybe a hint of a valley, or when the mountains sort of die away. If you want to take a realistic mapping approach though, you could draw squiggly ridge with slopes on either side. And if you're a better artist than I am, shaded a little better. Generally though, even though I try to go for this, more often than not, when I draw mountain ranges and mountains in fantasy maps, they end up coming out like this. So that's what I call a combined of the two. But you can draw them however you want. So I have started. I took a combination of the fantasy and realistic approach. I know I already started, but I do not have a fast forward button on my camera. And I'm a bit of a slow drawer, especially with big mountain ranges, which I have several of, so I started already. I finished up this one mountain range up here. I have two mountain ranges that go off the paper. I will give you an overview of that. I am drawing mountains heavily, so they will come out a lot better, hopefully, than the drawn version of the continents. I'm really sorry you couldn't see the continent very well in the last video, but I did trace it over in ink, as you can see. So as I give you an overview of the mountains, you'll also be able to see the entire world a lot better. I have my mountains going with the continent off of the paper. I generally don't like having unknown areas because I like to see everything in the world, but with this world that's actually coming out as really cool and mystical, and I actually really like it. So along with the continents, now we have mountain ranges going off of the paper to who knows where. I'm trying to take a more conscious approach of the normal method, and it is coming out a little better this time. Practice makes perfect, just like anything. I've drawn several fantasy maps, mostly of my one world that existed before this, the different countries and places in that world. Mapping a fantasy world just makes it so much more easy to write about. Especially if your characters are going on like long journeys. Then you can map out where they go and how long they stay. Trying big mountains. This is another reason why I like really big world maps, because then you don't have to draw teeny tiny. I can write teeny tiny, but I can't draw teeny tiny very well. Even though I do like to draw. And that's another great thing. You don't have to be a professional artist in order to do this. You can just sit down and do as you like. Bigger, bigger, bigger. Huge mountains up here. Yeah, go on paper. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, that. And I have one more mountain range, smack dab. Well, not exactly smack dab, but pretty close to smack dab in the middle of the area. I like the idea of that, so I went ahead and did that. Now, mind you, as I'm talking about adding little bits of realistic quality into your world in order to make it believable, I mean, don't overdo it. Keep a sort of fantasy element in most of it. But then just, if your world has hints of reality, and by hints I mean just like the way that land masses form, or like the way the people act, then that's going to be good by itself. Absolutely, most definitely keep your world as fantasy as possible. That is what makes these fantasy worlds so enjoyable. Places to escape from reality. If it is only in your head. This edition is so wonderful. It really is. I think it's really underrated. Because it's such a stress relieving and enjoyable thing to have. Trying to be more conscious of the normal method. A little bit of area over here. And yeah, okay, that's actually going out pretty good this time. Practice makes perfect. I have drawn several fantasy maps. Not a ton, but several. And let's help me through with this. Oh, one thing I forgot to add with drawing the mountains. You can actually give them an ancient look if you're drawing individual mountains by making the sides sort of rugged. If you have a bit of a bumpy surface on your table, that'll kind of come out anyway. So, but I mean, if you really want to make them look ancient, then really make them rugged. And also, as you trace the outline of where your maps are going to go with the visual object method, make sure that you trace slightly so that it doesn't leave a ton of pencil marks on your paper, but also strongly enough so you can see it. I'm not a professional artist. I don't even pretend to be. But I do my best. do like to draw. It's fun. I just don't draw very realistic or really three-dimensional either. Have some ones in here. Put really thin out over here. Teeny tiny nose. Teeny tiny. That's supposed to be coming out pretty good. And then getting bigger. It's coming out great. And even after you have done your mountains, you can go back and change them however you times you want. Make them thinner in some areas. Make them taller or whatever. Bigger. Okay, here you go. Erase the thin lines in which you placed your mountains. If you can. Place this up here. Okay, and there we go. There are mountains for this world. There we go. See a much better view of the world now, along with the mountains, hopefully. Place them all over. You can see them going off of the page there. And that's more of a realistic mountain range. And there we have that big one. And that's all there is to it. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If it was helpful, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And stay tuned for part 3 of Mapping the World series, which actually needs to give more thought to, but I'm pretty sure it will be forests. That's what I'll be adding next. So enjoy mapping your own fantasy world. Have fun with it. Make sure that it's what you like. That's the most important thing. And as you write about it, and even as you create it, may God put his hand on the product of your hand. So thanks for watching. Bye.